No, David will not.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the January 26th meeting of the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust. And the first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of our last meeting. And they have been distributed to you all previously. That was the meeting of January 12th. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes as they were distributed?
No, but I'd like to move approval of the minutes, please.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
A motion made and second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The minutes are approved. The next item on our agenda is to ratify the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust claims for this prior month. They have been distributed previously to all of you. Are there any questions or comments on the claims on the list that we have to approve?
I'd like to move approval, please.
Have a motion to approve. Have a motion made and second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The trust claims are approved. The next item are a group of items for individual consideration. Item A is related to our Project 180, and it's a Devon TIF project. It's a contract for architectural services with Frankfurt, Short, and Bruza. We have a contract and a explanation of what they're doing. Are there questions regarding this particular project? Does staff any comments they'd like to make on this?
I think you pretty much summed it up. This is for the A&E services for the buildings that are going to be constructed in the Myriad Gardens, the new restaurant, cafe, a band shell, and some kind of ancillary structures. These are things that aren't in, those things are not in the gardens right now, but we're also going to be constructing a new south entry to the Crystal Bridge. So that this contract is also the last of the A&E contracts, for now anyway, for the Project 180 for the Myriad Gardens and the streetscapes. As we move into other parts of it, like Bicentennial Park, we'll be hiring other A&E firms to look at those projects.
And as I recall, Kathy, the timing on this is the actual construction schedule start late this year.
The actual construction on the Myriad Gardens will start the day after the Arts Festival ends. So May 1st, roughly, we'll begin the reconstruction renovation of Myriad Gardens.
And it's noted on our handout, the estimated construction cost a little over $8 million, so it'll be a substantial project to improve Myriad Gardens.
And that's just for the buildings. The rest of the garden construction is probably another $25 million. So.
Any comments or questions?
On the band shell, is it a conventional band shell, or is it, I mean, what does it look like?
The design right now is not conventional. It's very unconventional. It's kind of, it's a rectangular structure with a semicircular cutout in the back, and it's kind of cantilevered over. They haven't finished all of the engineering work on it yet, but it's very unconventional and is kind of designed to tie in themes of round shapes and rectangular shapes throughout the gardens, with the Crystal Bridge as obviously the major focus.
Are there any questions or comments? Chair would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you. Item B on our agenda is an exciting new project. We have a new client in our Economic Development Trust activities. This involves Paycom, and would the staff like to say anything about this project?
Yeah, at this point I'd like to introduce Tiffany with the Chamber of Commerce, who can do some of the introductions on this project and give you a brief overview of Paycom and their request.
Okay, thank you. Tiffany, please go ahead.
Paycom is a national payroll services company that is headquartered here in Oklahoma City. We have been working with this company over the past few years on their potential expansion, but they are now ready to aggressively move forward on this, and we're very excited about this project and very hopeful that we can encourage their expansion. They are looking at adding 492 new jobs over the next 5 years. The anticipated first-year average wage is $36,796, and they anticipate the economic impact to be over $100 million for this project. They would like to have 3 buildings, and Chad can get into this more in his project description. They will only be starting, and the numbers that we have here only encompass the investment for the first building. We are very hopeful that in time that we will have 3 large Paycom buildings as more of a kind of a campus structure. So it's a very exciting project. And so we have 2 company representatives here today. We have Craig Bolte, who is the CFO, and then we have Chad Richardson, who is the founder and CEO. And I would like to call Chad here to give us more exciting information on this project, and he has a PowerPoint for us as well.
Thank you,
Tiffany.
And welcome.
And thank you for meeting with me. There we go. All right, we actually started in 1998, where we basically developed our own software to provide payroll services to those companies that already outsource their payroll. We've developed all of the software here in Oklahoma. We've developed it all internally. Today, we're the largest online payroll provider in the U.S., and we are the 5th largest payroll company in the United States for those companies that provide payroll services to other businesses. We have about 7,000 customers, and we add about 400 to 500 new customers a month to the service. So we're growing pretty rapidly. In the last year, we added 112 employees in the year of 2009. So we're already on a pace pretty much of adding 10 employees a month. Some months we do 20, some months we do 6. It just depends on where we find them. Over half of those, or right around half, or at least in Oklahoma City. I myself am from Tuttle. Was born at South Community Hospital here in Oklahoma City. Grew up in Tuttle, and went to school at the University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond. Pretty much stayed in Oklahoma most of my life. Did move to Tulsa for a brief period of time, and then to Colorado for a while before I moved back home and went for broke and started Paycom. Our value proposition to customers is, if they use us, they get 1 database versus using our competition where they may have 7 or 8 databases. So it's a single database solution. We operate with pretty high gross margins of about 80%, and we keep our customers. We have a 99% retention rate, and our customers come to us through multiple methods. Primarily, though, it's an outside sales organization that we have, different sales teams in different cities that actually call on customers. We have 2 processing centers currently. We do have one here in Oklahoma City, and we do have one in Louisville, Texas. All payrolls for all of the 50 states that we serve are actually processed in either Oklahoma City or Dallas. As you'll see on some of these slides where we have offices in other cities, we actually do not process in any other city except for Oklahoma City and Louisville. We have been recognized as one of the fastest growing payroll companies. We've been a Metro 50 award winner every year eligible, as well as Inc. 500 and 5000. We've received the IPPA Service Award for #1 payroll company from a service environment. That's from the International Payroll or Independent Payroll Providers Association. So all non-public payroll companies. And from 1998 to 2007, we had 5 locations just 2 years ago. By 2009, we had 12 locations. This year, we've already opened up Los Angeles and Costa Mesa, so we still have St. Louis and Raleigh-Durham left to open this year, which we'll do. And by 2012, our plans to be in 20 major metropolitan areas. And as you can see, there are some of the choices there. We continue to expand, and as we get larger and sell these 400 and 500 customers that we bring on every month, with a 99% retention rate, so we don't really lose customers. It creates a need for us to have a larger processing center, and more importantly than that, have a processing center where we've buried the production as well as the servers. And by buried, I mean right now we have everything backed up. We have disaster recovery. We are replicating the data to our Louisville location. But if we have our processing center buried, being underground, our ability to get back up and running quickly, it just makes it a lot easier for us to do that. And so it's become apparent to us that we need to build a processing center that will warehouse 20 to 25,000 square feet in the basement alone, as well as be large enough to meet our needs. We have found, well, I actually personally had bought some land a long time ago, thinking that maybe Paycom would move out there someday. And I think that, so I have some land in Oklahoma City, and I have some land in Edmond, and we need about 14 acres to be able to actually put 3 buildings. By the time we move into the first building, we'll have already outgrown it. And so what we're looking for is the Oklahoma City Chamber had come to us with the program that we'd heard about, which is, I believe, a tax credit program for adding new jobs. And so I was asked to come speak to you guys, which I'm honored to do that today, and to talk about that and answer any questions you guys might have about us as a company or our overall strategy. The actual property that falls within Oklahoma City limits is in between Rockwell and Council. It's the half-mile mark between Rockwell and Council off of the Kilpatrick Turnpike. So that's not quite developed out there. So our main problem that we have when we go into an area is phone lines, which we've talked with Cox and AT&T about any location that we've chosen to go into and their ability to run lines out there. The proposed headquarters would consist of 3 buildings, each containing 90,000 square feet. The first building would have about 20,000 in the basement, and then proportionately 23,000 or what have you square feet above it for 3 floors. The next 2 buildings would not have a basement and just be 30,000 square foot floor plates. The investment in the buildings, the land is $1.8 million. The building, number 1, will cost us $11,400,000. With equipment, that's our total investment for 1 building. Our employees, in 2009, well, actually, that would have had to have been the beginning of 2009, because oh, this is just Oklahoma City, okay. So that would make more sense. So these are the number of employees that we have in Oklahoma City and then how we grow it. We actually grow our overall staff probably about double of that. If we're adding 100 here in Oklahoma City, we're adding probably 100 in the other areas that we serve as well. So that puts us out through 2014, and that is the last piece of the slide. So I'll answer any questions that you guys have. Yeah.
Chad, what kind of skill set is your predominant need in your employee base?
Well, it's very diverse. We look for people that they have to have a college degree from a 4-year university. We do extensive background checks. I mean, we're dealing with bank accounts, Social Security numbers. So we really look for the right person. Anywhere from a payroll specialist, to answer your question, anywhere from a payroll specialist that actually is more like a customer service rep, but they've been taught payroll and how our system works, and they work directly with the customer, to new client setup, which are highly skilled people. Once typically you're a payroll specialist, then you can become a new client setup person, and they're really responsible for setting up new customers, and then also being with that new customer for the first month or so until the customer's acclimated to the process. To production techs that actually produce the payroll, once the payroll specialists have queued them, they actually print them, stuff them, pack them, get them ready for FedEx. To IT and support, we do all of our software development in-house, so the IT and support that I'm talking about is for Paycom on an internal basis, making sure we stay secure. Just as we grow, I mean, we could need 10 computers in a month or 20 or what have you internally. Software development, so these are highly skilled software developers. Typically, we get them, they have a computer science degree, and you interview them, and their favorite subject was Calc 4 and that type of thing. So, I mean, they're a different type of group there. Management, we've actually hired in several management. We just relocated someone from Cleveland, Ohio, to start a new service for us where we actually find tax credits, oddly enough, for our customers because we have that information. Work opportunity tax credits that certain companies are eligible for. And then just your basic, what I call ancillary, until someone told me that's somewhat subservient. But anyway, it's HR, accounting, administration, reception, just everything. So those are the types of jobs that we would be bringing. And there's a wide range of salary, not to mention also sales, the sales staff. But for the purposes of the processing center, there will not be really any sales staff in that, with the exception of maybe some inside sales that handle selling additional services to the current customer base. Hopefully that's the long answer to you.
Other questions, Larry?
Are you constrained by the available labor pool in Oklahoma City at all?
I mean, a little bit. We have a lot of applicants, and then after you filter them out and you've run through the extensive background checks, I mean, the credit checks and just everything we have to go through due to the business that we're in, we do feel a little bit of that. But I think this is as good a place as any to be hiring from. We try to get them directly from the university, and that definitely helps us. Right now, we're constrained more about having to pack multiple people in offices, and we're just where we're at right now. It's hard for the building to meet the demand, although they've done a very good job. We're fortunate enough to be in a building currently that has about 120,000 square feet, and we've been a long-term tenant, so they've been willing to relocate and let us run wires where we need to. So.
Other questions? Chad, could you give us some sense of the timing for the construction of your new building?
We would like to start right away. I mean, we would like to start, in March. We have, for the most part, I think we know what we want to build. We're a very utilitarian type payroll solution to those that might charge a lot more, and that's kind of the way we run our business. With the exception of people and equipment, everything else we buy on eBay for very inexpensively. So anyway, we know what the needs that we have in the building are fairly simplistic, with the exception of mechanical, so we're far along the way. We'd like to be done with the building by the end of 2011. So we're going to run out of space where we're going to have to do something, and I really don't even know if we can wait that long. We'll probably have to move some of our operation out where we're at right now and have some separation while we're waiting.
The matter we have before us is the approval of a resolution authorizing the general manager to negotiate a contract and agreement with Paycom. Are there any questions about the resolution, what we are doing at this point in time? Chad, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that. I didn't mean to leave you standing there, but thank you. And good luck to you. It's really an exciting project for us to be participating in as well. So, if there are no further questions, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
This is suspense. This is killing me. We have a motion made and seconded to approve the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Staff's instructed to negotiate a contract. Thank you very much. This is what we're supposed to do. It's very exciting to be able to do this kind of thing. The next item on our agenda is it's an item that we've had some discussion with in previous meetings, dealing with the comprehensive economic development strategy. And this is the project that we're going to partner with ACOG on to get done and allow us then to hopefully be in line for some grants from the Economic Development Authority, I guess it is, or administration, federal money to further our efforts in Oklahoma City. The amount that we've agreed to participate with is $50,000. We've had an explanation at the last meeting by ACOG, and prior to that we had some staff input as to what that money was about. Are there any additional questions that have come to mind about this particular item? Okay. Well, then I think our next item, our next move is to approve the resolution and then send it to the City Council for final approval there. Approval.
I'll second.
I have a motion made and seconded. You know, I have a bad heart, people. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Thank you very much. Moving right along. Item D on our agenda has to do with some financing issues, and would staff care to give us a brief summary of what this proposal is?
Yeah, this resolution authorizes the issuance of a $5 million note for TIF number 2. It is designed to help us deal with some expenses that we think are coming up on some of our projects, like some of the land acquisition along Boathouse Row and some of those kinds of things that we have going on right now. I think the memo talks a little bit about interest rate and term, 5-year term. We'll be setting the interest rate as soon as this resolution is authorized, so we believe the interest rate will be around 4% to 4.3%. So it's really a very short-term solution for a problem that we think that may come up. So.
And I want to call the trust's attention to the fact that we are waiving competitive bidding because of a number of conditions, and they're all outlined on our draft document. Are there any questions about that particular aspect of it?
I just have kind of a real basic question regarding borrowing money to purchase land or for land acquisition. How do we, is it the intent that the money will be paid back from other sources or through the sale of that land eventually? What kind of a return do we expect?
The intention is that the note will be paid off through TIF 2 revenues, through the increment revenues that are generated by the TIF District number 2. So the sale of any land is not tied to repayment of the note in any way. It's just all of the revenues from TIF number 2 within the entire district are pledged for repayment of the note. So
the TIF will end up owning the land at the end of the day, and
the Economic Development Trust will own the land,
okay.
And we just use TIF revenues as the revenue source that you all administer. You are the entity that was designated as the administrating entity for TIF District number 2 and TIF District number 8 and several of the other ones. So you all will own the land. Some of the land, though, may be owned by the city, especially along Boathouse Row. Some of these funds may be transferred to the city, and the city will own the land, or we will transfer the land to the city. So it's really in those situations, the trust acts as a conduit, basically, to help the city fulfill other goals within TIF District number 2.
Any additional questions or comments? Chair would entertain a motion approving the resolution. Can I make motions?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You have the same right.
Okay, I move we approve the resolution. Fails for lack of a second. Come on, any number can play. This is even. The chair would like to hear a second to the motion. Oh, sorry, I was in such a state of shock that I didn't know. All those in favor say aye. The resolution is approved. The final item on our agenda is the Oklahoma City Economic Trust General Manager Report. And Kathy, do you have anything you'd like to call our special attention to?
Not really. I mean, we're providing these, I guess we just sent one to you a couple weeks ago, so I don't know that much has changed. I think you can see that we have begun to make expenditures under TIF number 8 for a variety of projects and purposes. All of the A&E contracts, like we mentioned earlier, have been awarded. So I think it's, there really hasn't been that much that's changed in the last couple of weeks. So,
Are there questions from the trust? And I have a quick question then on tax increment district number 6, the Los Rosas one. Is that finished now?
no, the district still exists. I believe that Habitat for Humanity now owns the property and is working to sell those houses, build on the lots that haven't been built on and sell the houses that are there to people that qualify under their programs. So we're hopeful that eventually that district will begin to generate enough revenues to pay off the
debt was associated.
The debt that was associated. Right now we do have an agreement or a loan with the city to make whole this TIF district because it didn't really work quite the way we had hoped it would. So,
is there any chance that Habitat for Humanity might develop a second phase that was originally proposed?
I'll have to look into it. I'm not sure they purchased the second phase of it. I know they purchased the first phase, but I don't know that they purchased the second part. So it may just stay undeveloped. Now, if you remember on the second phase, we never made any expenditures either. We never made any of the public improvements, so that land is still available for development.
Are there any questions concerning our economic development report? I think this has been a good addition. I appreciate the staff putting this thing together. It's been very helpful. Are there any comments from the trustees? No seconds or comments, either one. Are there any comments, additional comments from the staff? Comments from the general public? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.